Today I'm going over my seasonal advents and sock set countdowns to celebrate the simple pleasures and joys we have in life. So whether that's stories, tea, coffee, plants, or our furry little companions, I hope you'll join me for this short video where I just review the themes in a little bit more detail. Welcome back, fiber friends. Today I'm doing something a little bit different, and I thought I'd explore the For the Love collection, which is the theme for this year's 2025 Advent season. I know that it's really early in the year, but as many of you know, as a dyer, it's really helpful for us to get our numbers so we have a general sense of how much to dye of everything. And for me as a teacher, and I'm off in the summer, it's really critical so that I can get a lot of that dyeing during the summer months before I go back for the new school year. So this year's theme is For the Love, and I really wanted to hone in on all of the things that truly bring us joy in our day-to-day living. And I've curated a collection that I hope will resonate with a lot of people. And my goal, just like last year, this year I've elected to offer a wide range of offerings in hopes that regardless of what your budgetary constraints might be for the holiday season, I'm hoping that there's something that fits your budget. So I will have 12-day and 24-day options. I have weekly sock sets for those that aren't interested in mini skeins. And for both, I'll have the option of fingering weight as well as DK weight. So let's dive into what the options are. First up, I am going to start with For the Love of Dogs. If you don't already know, I'm very much a dog person. In fact, this little puppy in this picture is actually my dog Lyric as a baby. That she was probably about 6 weeks old in that picture, and I got her right before Christmas time. So she is an adorable little thing. So for the love of dogs, you will have the option to go with 12 days or 24 days. You can choose between fingering and DK. You'll also have the option to add on or decline the full 100 gram skein. So for fingering, it is a 75-25 Superwash Merino nylon blend. It is a 2-ply yarn. And for DK, and there's 92 yards. Yeah, roughly about 92 yards on those 20-gram mini skeins. I think there is 46 on the 10-gram mini skein option. So not only do I offer 20 grams, but you can get 10 grams of fingering. And then in DK weight, it is also about 46 yards for the 20 grams. And again, you can do 12 days or 24 days, and you can opt for the full skein add-on. The DK is also a 75-25 Superwash Merino nylon blend, so that if you want to later on down the road, you don't want to use everything as a full set, and maybe you want to use it for heels and toes of a DK weight sock, you can. So with the Love of Dogs Advent, this is going to be themed around the spirit of our canine companions. So I'm not looking up 24 different breeds and naming yarns after them. So think of colorway names like Puppy Kisses, Furry Snuggles, Squirrel Chase, Paw Prints in the Snow. Just really fun, cute things that revolve around our little canine friends. And so I'm really trying to focus on the activities, the emotions, and those essential elements of being a dog owner. When we move on to For the Love of Cats, again, you're going to have the choice between fingering and DK. With fingering, you'll still have that 10 versus 20 gram option. All of them will be that 75-25 superwash merino nylon base. The fingering is a 2-ply. Again, 12, 24 days, 10, 20 grams for fingering. DK only comes in 20-gram mini skeins, and you have the option of that full 100-gram skein if you should want it. Again, I'm not picking 24 breeds of cats. I'm really focusing on the quirkiness of cats, their behavior, and their the features of being a cat owner. So think laser point, like that laser pointer chase, playful pounce, feline frolic, snooze in the sun. Just what are the elements of cats? They're very playful. They're very curious. They bring their owners a lot of comfort, and they're a little bit mischievous. So I'm really looking to evoke those things about cat ownership versus trying to tackle breeds. So let's move on to sock sets, because I do have 4 distinct options for Sunday sock sets. So these will be 4 sock sets that you'll open the Sunday of each week leading up to solstice or Christmas, whatever you might celebrate or don't celebrate. I'm going to start with the love of coffee. That is my morning ritual. And I specifically didn't want to do sock sets that involved colorways named after drinks. I really wanted to focus on that morning ritual and the feeling and the moments and just the element of the ritual that coffee brings to our life. So think cozy mornings, that smell of freshly ground beans if you're a bean grinder, the warmth of the mug, and just the overall essence of coffee and what we cherish about that daily cup. So I am focusing on 4 skeins with 4 coordinating minis. Again, you will have your option of the 75-25 superwash merino nylon in fingering weight or DK weight. And so the first week, we're focusing on the ritual beginning. So the morning grind and before the sun comes up for many of us. Week 2, we're focusing on savoring that moment. So the first sip and the steamy comfort of our morning cup of coffee. And week 3, it will be inspired by the daily rhythm. So for some people, it goes beyond the morning ritual. It becomes a caffeine rush. It's just roasted bliss. And then for others, there's a cozy evening. It's coziness in a cup. Some people, have even a decaffeinated cup of coffee in the evenings, whether it's after dinner, they're in a coffee house. So we're really focusing on the joy of coffee. I know not everyone is a coffee drinker, so to balance things out, I opted to also do the world of tea. Though I am a tea drinker, a coffee drinker, I do find joy in a cup of tea, and I have friends of mine that solely drink tea. So again, I'm not focusing on tea flavors. I really wanted to capture tea loving moods. So whether that's that first cup of tea in the morning or that slow moment, evening wind down. Because for a lot of people, tea is a way of, so, it's a form of self-care, and it's the way they relax a lot of times with their knitting. So again, this is 4 weekly sock sets, and you can choose between the 75/25 merino nylon with the coordinating mini, in fingering or in DK. So week one, I really wanted to focus on the start of a peaceful day. So we're looking at tea leaves and tranquility, and that first steep. So just that fresh brew in the morning. Week two, looking at it from the perspective of a midday pause. A lot of people have a midday ritual of just warming up and drinking that comforting cup of tea in the later afternoon when things begin to kind of slow down for a lot of us. So, and then week three, I wanted to focus on the idea of tea being nature's remedy. There are a lot of soothing blends. People find tea really healing. And so looking at it as an herbal escape, with the thought of like honey. And then the last week, focusing on the idea of tea being that evening wind down for us. So think of it as a cup of calming. A warm cup of tea usually brings a quieter mind. So just the idea of being inspired by the last sip of coffee that makes us feel calm, still, and kind of a gentle reflection on our day. So for these sock sets, I forgot to mention, whether it's the coffee, tea, or the next two that I'm going to talk about, there is fingering versus DK. But with the fingering, you're going to have the option to do a 50-gram skein with a coordinating 20-gram mini, or the full 100-gram with the 20-gram mini. Now, for some people, that's 70 grams of yarn. So some people opt to do shorty socks. That's great. Others of us, like I wear 7.5, sometimes an 8, I can actually get a full pair of socks out of a 50-gram skein with the coordinating 20-gram mini. I won't have but a few yards left of that 50-gram skein because I do a full 7-inch from cuff to the top of my heel leg, and then from my heel to where I start my contrasting toe, that's about 7.25 stitches. So I can use up a full 50-gram skein and not really have any yarn left or much, but a few yards of my main colorway. So if that works for you, that is an economical way to go. So I do have friends that love houseplants. And so I feel like houseplants are a simple joy. People name them. We love to share them. We cut clippings. We give them to friends. So I wanted this sock set to reflect so I wanted this sock set, this weekly sock set advent, to not be like a green sock set and start naming things after our plants. That's great, but not my focus. I really wanted to reflect on the moods that our plant-filled spaces give us. And so I know that people find a lot of joy in the leaves and the growth in plants. So we're thinking sun-drenched windowsills, the quiet moments with your plants when you're watering and caring for them, wiping their leaves off, that kind of thing. So week one, we're focusing on the morning light and the leafy friends. So the main color will be like sun on the sill and sprouting joy. So think bright windows, soft shadows, new growth. Week two, we're going to focus on the care of plants. So watering them, wiping them off. So the tending rituals for houseplants. and there's a rhythm to watering day. Week 3 is going to focus on the peace that our plant-filled spaces bring us. So think of that cozy corner of vining plants, just the breath and the peace and the stillness of these quiet plants thriving in our homes. And then week 4 is supposed to look at kind of golden hour. So just quiet nights with soft shadows and just calm night blooming. Sometimes we wake up to new blooms. So again, this is going to be fingering DK weight. And then the last option that I have would not be complete without the love of stories. And so my channel is called Knits and Stories. So no collection of the simple joys in life would be complete without a sock set advent for stories. So this is meant to look at the various themes in stories, particularly those classic enchanting stories with really quiet narratives. So these colorways for these sock sets are really meant to kind of capture all the moments in books that make us fall in love with them. So week 1, we're going to focus on, I've called it Once Upon a Quiet Moment. So think cracked spines, candlelight, page 1, just the anticipation and thrill of starting a new story. So we're going to focus on that quiet moment in the beginning. Week 2, we're going to delve deep into the story world. So now you're lost in a story. So think plot twists, the whispers of magic throughout the story for many of us in those enchanted tales. Week 3, we're going to focus on chapters and the changes that happen. So think of turning the page, the emotion and the ink. You're deep in the story, characters are growing, things are changing. And then week 4, we're thinking of the end of the story and the echo that sometimes stories have. They linger with us. So think of those last lines that sometimes linger with us, closing the cover, just that really cozy, but sometimes bittersweet feeling of finishing a book. So those are the 2 main 24, 12, or 24-day advents, and the 4 Sunday sock set advents. Whether you want to use them for solstice, you want to use them for Christmas, maybe you just want to experience that daily or weekly magic in opening something during the holiday season. Again, there are plenty of options to hopefully meet any kind of budget that you might have for Advent season. There are payment plans through Affirm on my website where you can do 4 interest-free payments. I get paid up front, but you would be having payments every couple of weeks out of your paycheck, if that, or out of your account if that is an option that works best for you. So that pretty much concludes everything that I wanted to share with you about the theme of the For the Love collection. I hope you found something that resonates with you and you'd love to have this holiday season. If you have questions, if I didn't touch on anything or you want me to clarify anything, please just drop a comment down below. I'm happy to answer questions. If you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more knitting and reading content, then don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, friends, happy knitting, happy reading, and I'll see you next week.
Always think of you when spring comes, like it's something in the air at that time. Don't know why. Always dream of you when spring comes. like the heat.